Hey guys. Oh, that's so much better. I was recording with the wrong mic the first time. My bad. But hey, welcome back. A new week, or I guess I'll be honest, I'll be straight up. I posted the last video yesterday and I'd just been staring at the comments, staring at the view going up. My goal was 100 views and we're about to hit 200. So thank you so much to those of you guys that liked it, and to those of you that gave me some critique to make this one better. Thank you guys especially. But yeah, to everyone that watched it, I appreciate you. And let's get straight into this one. I'm gonna be talking today about working because you have to and not because you want to, or that feeling of doing anything because you have to and not because you want to do it. This is because of these questions. I'm gonna list them all because they all kind of fall in the same category of what I'm talking about today. So, hi Zade, love this new format, thank you. Comforting and relatable. It's no secret the intros you make for Cody take a lot of time. How are you so committed and focused when making them? Love your stuff, from Annan. So thank you very much for the question. I also got, hey Zade, has there ever been a time when you're working on a project for someone and you decide to try a new technique that you haven't before? If so, how do you make sure to see your vision through on the end result when failure can be much more daunting in a final product rather than an isolated experiment? That's from Chris or Ganhu. Thank you very much again for the question. And the last one, are there any interests that you hope to channel into videos but you haven't gotten the chance to yet? Keep up the incredible work, from Heffelmeyer. I'm so sorry if I said your name wrong. Yeah, obviously all these questions are very different, but they all come into the category of what I was thinking about, which is working because I have to and not because I want to. Obviously with my job, it is editing. I'm being sent a video and someone pays me to edit it and upload that final product and everything, and I try and be as creative as possible. But you know, I do 2 to 4 videos now a week for Cody. I do 1 to 2 videos a month for Carl, and then I also do a video a month for James, odd ones out. I work for a lot of people. Along with that comes burnout naturally. But yeah, sometimes I'm not in the mood, sometimes I see the video and I'm honestly dreading, and that's when the transition from editing, because I love editing, I love trying new things, I love all of this, goes from I enjoy it to I'm doing it because I have to, I have a deadline and I need to get paid or whatever, you know? And I feel like that's the thin line where a lot of people fall into the like you mentioned, the how are you committed and focused when making them. I kind of have to. If I don't try something new and things get repetitive and stale, I'm doing the same 2 jokes for every Cody video, I'm doing the same transitions or text for a Carl vid. Like for me personally, if I don't try something new, then that's when I feel that feeling that I'm doing this as a job and not as the thing that I've loved doing since I was like 11 years old, you know? Similarly with the question about trying a new technique when you haven't done it before, that's what I do. That's how I do it. If you're gonna test something, you know, whether it's Blender, like 3D animation, whether you're an artist, you know, maybe you want to try oil pastels for a client, or if you're a voice actor and you want to try a certain voice, you might as well test it while getting paid and make the most of learning from it there. You know, if you can experiment solo, it's good, but you don't always get that necessary critique to do better. For example, one that I always bring up is the puppet animation I did for Cody. For one of his button videos, I did a 3D animation of Cody being a puppet, and at the time I was hyping it up on my Twitter. I was so excited, my first big Blender project. I had the vision in my head exactly of how it was gonna look, and it didn't look anything like that. It sucked. It took 3 days. That's the longest I've taken on an intro, and the payoff was not there. It was 3 seconds. I had to throw a bunch of effects on in After Effects to cover up how ugly it looked straight out of Blender and everything, but I learned from that. And then I made the Mario Kart intro, which a lot of people loved, which I learned from all the mistakes of that first one that I could challenge into the second one. I think that feeling when you try something different that you've not done yesterday, the day before, last week, or the week before that is what really changes it from a job to enjoying it. You know, that trial and error feeling that, okay, I tried this, it maybe didn't end up perfectly, but now when I want to do this thing, I know what not to do and I know what I should do from that thing. If that makes sense. I have that feeling a lot, where especially with the cutting part of videos. So for Carl, for example, I usually get 2 to 3 hours, sometimes more, of like 4 to 6 POV action cam footage from him, his laptop webcam, his GoPro, etc., etc. and it can seem really daunting. And when I'm looking at that 2 to 3 hour footage and I'm sitting on my computer for 6 hours cutting it, it is exhausting and it's demotivating. You know, it's not his fault. It has to be cut down to 8 to 10 minutes somehow. It's just, it sucks that it has to be me doing it, because that's the least creative part of the process for me. I know there's a lot of people that love the cutting section and hate the VFX part, but I love the VFX part and I hate the cutting part. But sometimes you just have to do it, you know? There's not always times where you can be like, I don't want to do this, so I just won't. If you're being paid to do the job, then you have to do the job. It's just try and make the most of what you can with that job. So as soon as I finished the exhausting, mentally draining, just creatively, just ruining my creative energy section of cutting down 3 hours to 8 minutes, I can go ham on the effects. I can test stuff I didn't test before. And fortunately for me, the clients I work with generally enjoy that stuff. There was one thing I did, where Meat Canyon did the SpongeBob, like really close up, hyper detailed effect for one of his animations, and I loved it. And I was like, I want to do this, but I wasn't gonna pay an artist. That sounds awful. I would have paid an artist, but it was through Carl's video. So I wanted to test myself and see what I could do. And so I did that. I zoomed in, I added details, sharpness, some grain, some contrast, a posterized effect. These might be random words to you, but this is just a bunch of effects I randomly put on to try and get the effect I wanted. Was it perfect? No. But after 3 hours of cutting down footage for so long, where I felt so creatively drained, doing this one effect that took maybe an hour for a 3 to 4 second bit was amazing. It felt amazing, and I found it really funny, you know, zooming in with a finger going shh. I'll put it up on screen so you can see what I'm talking about. But making that effect, it took a long time, but it was so much fun. In the hour of me cutting versus the hour of me making that 3 second effect, I'd pick the hour of me taking that 3 second effect every day, because it was creative, I had fun doing it, and it didn't feel like a job. It felt like I was experimenting, I was trying something. And I do want to point out, I acknowledge not everyone has clients like that. You know, I've had clients in the past where I try and do some creative things and they're cut immediately. But you have to think, at least you tried, you know? If you're not being paid hourly and you're on the clock, where you're technically wasting their time if you spend all those hours on an effect that doesn't make it in the final video, if you're not on that situation, or even after the video is done and you still have the footage, mess around with it, see what you could have done if the client liked it, and maybe send it to them. Be like, hey, I know usually you have lighter edits or you don't do stuff like this, but I made this, and if he likes it or she likes it, if they like it, they like it. If they don't like it, they don't like it. But you got practice out of it, you know? You got practice out of something that was nothing before. That's where you can, I feel like the most creative part of editing, in terms of editing overall, is trying the new stuff. Because if every video you're cutting, you're zooming, subtitling, and you're done, and you do that every day or every week, you're gonna get bored. You can't be surprised when you have burnout there, because you're following the same routine every day without anything different. Trying out these new graphics, seeing a text effect on a tutorial that you want to try out, then try it out, you know? See how that goes. And I think everyone, to cut out of that working because you have to, not because you want to, you have to realize sometimes there are deadlines, but what you make of that time is up to you, you know? Trying new stuff is definitely the best way to get out of that kind of trap. To answer the questions directly, how do I stay focused and committed? Sometimes I don't want to do the intro, but I do them anyway because I have to for a deadline. Sometimes I'm not focused, but I have to. I see that it has to be done at 6 p.m. Doesn't matter if I want to watch a movie, if I want to go eat, if I want to hang out with some friends. If it has to be done at 6 p.m., I have to finish it by 6 p.m. Has there been a time where you tried a new technique? I think I answered that through that whole thing where the puppet, you know, the 3D puppet, that was a prime example of me trying a new technique. It didn't really pay off, and I, you know, unfortunately wasted Cody's time in terms of people liked it, but I don't think it was up to the par or quality that was deserved. And I understand it's definitely very daunting. And are there any interests you want to challenge to videos? 100%. I did a sock intro for Cody. It didn't actually get the best reception in terms of, you know, sometimes people are commenting, oh, the intro is great, but the sock one, I didn't get as many, but I loved it. That was the most fun. Was I put socks on my hand, I filmed, I don't have a green screen, so I just filmed in front of my cupboard, and I animated the socks moving like it was Cody, and then I rotoscoped it all into a scene from the button That was the most fun. So I think doing more in-person stuff where I'm interacting or really filming stuff for Cody intros or just any kind of intros, I think that's my favorite. That's definitely something I want to put more into. And now the non-editing question. Do you have any daily routines that help you focus? Ever since I heard making your bed every day makes a difference, I followed through on that. If you make your bed and shower every morning, or I guess at night if you do it differently, just waking up, making your bed, showering every morning and brushing your teeth straight away before you work, before you go on your phone, before you do anything, I'm telling you, you'll notice the difference. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Again, I have no idea what gameplay I put in the background. If you have any questions, I've left the forum down below, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you.